just jump into the Discord stream right now. Let's see Edgy Meme Lord versus Sbrh, guys. Give it up for those two players. Let's see what they bring to the store. I need to get some water right now, however, so take over right now.
Here we go.
1 minute.
Starting off right now, seeing this Flagellant, such an important character in this tournament, picked quite so often. Something you might not see so much on the ladder, but Edgy Meme Lord here, taking the coin, very, very, very impactful when he's running this comp with 2 stuns. If he gets the stun privilege here, maybe gets a lucky stun on that 70% base man-at-arms, maybe even on the Flagellant here, he can reduce a lot of that backline damage, really push him to, and there we go, this R-Bless in rank 3, stunned here from the Vestal, maybe a misplay on SBRH's side in terms of the rank in which you position your character here. Vestal is one of the most commonly picked characters in this entire tournament, I believe.
Yeah, obviously, we saw, actually, I think 2 compositions of Edgy Meme Lord have a Vestal in them, right? So not understanding, or like not at least anticipating the fact that she was gonna be there is very punishing right now for SBRH. Indeed. Absolutely
punishing. I mean, right now he's paying the... That is a resistor off the Flagellant. 55% base stun resist. You have to kind of...
Yeah, 35% chance to res there. Yeah, crazy. Yeah. But it's like we have seen a lot of stuns resisted recently. You just don't... Really, you shouldn't be depending or relying on those stuns at all right now. The Jester dodges, this is so big, by the way. Every single dodge that the Jester gets very early into those fights means that he's going to get up for the, set up the finale quite safely. And this means, again, like, he dodges the bleed here.
We see Dirks have instead of Harvest. That is something really to take note of. Obviously, he's only got that 140% damage on. These characters are all at full health. You want to see a Harvest there. Try and get them low. Obviously, the man-at-arms in the R-Bless have a reasonably high base speed resist.
That's in our dodge, though.
That's a big miss there. It still does set up the riposte, Mike.
Indeed. I mean, what I'm thinking here is perhaps Edgy Meme Lord is trying to set up this kind of switcheroo between the Crusader and the Jester, where they just kind of dance forward and forward and forward, trying to eliminate those back row characters. Because I feel like Edgy might be trying to target this R-Bless first. That's what it looks like to me anyway. And this might be the right thing to do, right? You set up the Crusader to just Holy Lance this target twice, and you are basically good to go. Look at this, he just goes with this.
We love this back and forth, Mike, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
It's really high-level Jester play, especially with the Crusader here. That back and forth, Dirksab Holy Lance, really sets you up perfectly for a finale, but really, you do want to see a couple of harvests behind that. I think right now we're seeing Edgy Meme Lord making somewhat of a strategical misplay here, especially because of the high protection and also that Bella coming. You want to start playing those DOTs that are unaffected by that, don't you?
Yeah, that's true. So I really want to see this game kind of evolve before I make any statements about people making mistakes here, because I have not really seen this composition that SBRH is using in action outside of the tournament setting before.
Well, so, it's a very interesting control composition, isn't it? With that Leopard there for the heavy damage instead of something like a Flagellant for the DOT damage. What we're seeing here is a mixture between control damage, this kind of snappy build, or a control defensive build. This build that tries to react to these snappy things. He'll just out of Death's Door and apply pressure, especially with this Flagellant here. Such a powerful character we've seen so much of here. Look at his handout there, he's ready to go. If he's targeted, he's going to exsanguinate. He's going to kill that Leper. But again, that Crusader in rank 2, not a great exsanguinate target. We're seeing the early heal here, Mike. What do you think about that? I don't like it.
I feel like he's just trying to play the same. We have already seen SBRH play it slow before. I feel like he knows what he's doing. Like, this is the most outrageous thing. Both players really have an agenda in this game. I think they're taking their time because they are just trying to plan out their actions, but they know what their win conditions are. I feel like SBRH just knows what he's doing. He plays to his win conditions. I have seen people use those heals proactively rather than reactively a lot recently, and it might be something that is, maybe escaping me and you, but I have actually seen people abuse this to a certain extent, and this was working out
for them. Single target shot here on the Flagellant, the stunned Flagellant there, unable to use his healing abilities, but also not in the health range where he would be able to use it right now. So maybe a misplay there, maybe you wanted to see a shoot, maybe you wanted to see something else, but this Vendetta Highwayman rather, setting up very, very heavy riposte damage. If you hit that, you're going to be taking a crit that can potentially put you right down to Death's Door, Mike.
Yeah, indeed. So looking at this game stage right now, I feel like this Jester is under heavy pressure, right? So the problem is for him, like if he tries to go forward right now, he might just get absolutely obliterated by the by the Arbalest and by the Highwayman of SBRH. So those sounds obviously help a little bit to alleviate those battles, which is very important because there's no Arbalest on Edgy Meme Lord's lineup, only the Crusader to remove those debuffs. We might just see a slow game by both players, just trying to kind of find their way into, like, look for an opening right now, and which we, by the way, see by SBRH like hitting this Jester for quite a bit of damage. I think
Edgy Meme Lord here is too scared to pull the trigger on that finale, don't you? He needs to start aggressing more, trying to push down that flag and really take it. It's turn 3 now. He is that death store. He's going to need to start playing defensively. Maybe he tries to play offensively with his sons, but that Jester is in such a precarious position right now. Needs to take it home, and I don't think he can. That big heal though, 14 heal, might protect him from one hit, Mike. I don't know. What are you doing right now if you're a Meme Lord?
This is okay for Edgy because he didn't want to stun 2 targets at the same time because that's just a wasted 10. The Arbalest just comes forward, removes that with the flare, and she's golden. So he probably does the right thing. Just dodges this most importantly. And right now, again, Edgy might have a momentum going in his favor. So SBRH playing this slow control composition, maybe this is what we are actually looking at right now. SBRH playing this a notch too slow for Edgy Meme Lords to actually just fall down.
Almost, yes, but still pushing him into that finale range. But right, that chop, if that hits heavy, 17 at 14 health, maybe with that 30% protection, it's not quite enough at finale.
No,
again,
definitely not.
We want to kill the Flagellant, don't we, Mike? The Flagellant is our target number 1.
Yeah, I actually very much like the fact that he didn't take the Purge and he just took the Chop and Hew instead, because this allows you to set up against the Flagellants quite diligently, right? This means that this Flagellant will probably, if Edgy Meme Lord doesn't forget, just will never get to heal his entire team. He's never going to get to redeem, and he's never going to get to actually deliver any sort of pain upon SBRH. This is a stun coming down though, so this might be a trigger for Edgy Meme Lord to actually just follow this up with even more damage, and maybe just consistently just disable this character. However, you have to remember, MAA here on SBRH's side still has the guard available. There's a heal from the Arbalest. It's not going to be such an easy task to just get rid of this Flagellant from the get-go.
Not at all, my friend. I mean, this Jester is turned 4 and he's not quite finale. I think we all wanted to see that happen, didn't we? I think Edgy Meme Lord here perhaps relying a little bit too much on his control variance. Not really putting it forward, especially against this Arbalest, right? I think we wanted to see that finale come out quite a lot earlier, play a little bit more aggressively, right, Mike?
Yes, indeed. So, there's actually a lot of DOTs that Edgy Meme Lord has been able to sneak through right into SBRH's ranks. And we see a very head MAA, a very head Flagellant who probably just goes down to the finale right now.
Might be enough for that finale and the Flag right now, yeah?
Yeah, SBRH just had to choose, I feel like. This is just going to be a finale onto the Flagellant. There's just such a good target to take down.
It's a bit of a trade though, because you're going to be knocked down with that bleeding blight, so you are very, very vulnerable to death. So you're taking that, lowering your dodge for that finale. I take the chest. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, he does that. I was actually thinking he might focus the Highwayman, but the Death's Door debuff to damage is very significant, so he just couldn't potentially pull it off. I feel like killing off the Flagellant though is a very, very solid choice. He also goes first right now, so he gets to heal this Jester, so he's pretty much fine. I feel like he just took a free kill out there. He's going to be
a lot of people overestimate the importance of the Jester's finale debuff. All it really does is make you take more stress, and it lowers your dodge a little bit. He's still just as potent as a Harvester, as a Dirk Stab finisher, you know? He might be afflicted quite a bit early, but still, he's just as strong. You want to get the finale as early as possible, especially against Flagellant. But that resisted stun, Mike.
Yeah, there are two things that happened. The Jester resisted the heal, and then the MA resisted the stun. Both of things quite unlikely to happen, so Edgy Meme Lord in a bit of a pickle right now, I believe. He obviously goes right now, so he can heal this Jester to reasonable amount of HP and just start shredding SBRH's ranks with those harvests. However, this Highwayman will probably pop the Repose very, very soon, and this might indeed spell
I'm worried why SBRH didn't pop the Riposte on his Man-at-Arms a little bit earlier on you, Mike. He doesn't even have it. Not taking the Riposte on the Man-at-Arms set. Very, very interesting decision.
Yeah. I mean,
especially considering the teams he's playing against.
I'm actually surprised there is no attempt for SBRH to finish off this Jester, because this is still quite a big opponent. I feel like that's a valid threat indeed. Yeah, I think you said this already. Like, you can just spam harvest all you want until those guys get those riposts out. So right now the Crusader, I feel like, is kind of safe to do whatever he wants. I feel like this is just turn order mistake though, because you can heal the Jester, be safe. Then there's a resist.
70%
this is unlikely. No,
this is just. It's unlikely, but it's going to happen, Mike. If you keep spamming stun, it's going to happen. 30% chance will happen 1 in 3 times, Mike. We need to expect this.
I think it's just 20, right? Vesta has 50% stun chance with those shrinkers.
Or even then, Mike. Even then, 20%. It's bound to happen eventually, right?
But it's such a strange play, though. He plays it safe, as SBRH that is. He just plays this super safe. I mean, he just is worried of losing this character from the get-go. But yeah, that's just the right thing to do, I feel, for Edgy. Just moves forward with this Jester, just ekes out another small lead, and he just... Oh, okay, that's questionably unfortunate. Oh no! Are you kidding me?
That is why you take... Oh, man. I mean, to be honest, Mike, we see a clash of the titans, really. When these two monstrous opponents face each other, they both crumble under each other's respective weight. Both of them now are making quite obvious misplays to us watching here. These guys are under the pressure, so terrified of each other, that they are not acting in their best. You see how quick, look at this go. Look, oh, hold on, actually. Let's wait for him. He's thinking hard, finally. The Edgy act now. What do you think, Mike? Do you think these guys are going to be slow here? Do you think they're going to match each other's pace?
Yeah, they have to be. This is such an important match for both of them, right? Every single one matters right now, and that's just so important for them to take this big W in this matchup here. Because going first, we have already kind of said this, just gives you a decent advantage. There's a very heads-up play by SBRH, however, he pivots. This comp can pivot from damage to stress, and he just does that. So this is going to be a lot of stress coming from this MAA and from this Highwayman, and I'm not sure if Edgy Mimlord has what it takes to just take over this one right now. He obviously gets a stun on the Highwayman right now. This is absolutely going to take place.
We're seeing this Highwayman and the Arbalest quite high out. The Arbalest can clear both of these stuns in one turn if she wants to. I think she might.
Very surprising. Edgy Mimlord just doesn't read this on time. He could have stunned. He could have had a single stun out right now. He doesn't get this though. He goes for a chop here on this MAA, but it's just...
There we go, does get it. He's blinking red, my guy. He's bleeding like a little pansy. The man at arms here, more like the man at death door.
There's a big mistakes by Edgy. Like, I would have not expected to see them here. Because he would have definitely, like, if he had made, like, some small alterations to his playstyle, obviously we're just sitting here watching backseat gaming, right? But this is kind of our job in this tournament. And the very
same time, backseat gaming is one thing, but it's also a different thing to think strategically. Right now, we've seen Edgy meme mode. That's unfortunate. I think more than that, Edgy, we have the benefit of not being under this pressure, right? This is why I love cardistry and playing is so difficult. Edgy meme lord right now, we've called him a Titan, we've beat him up, but right now he's against a dark horse. This guy's going to trample all over him right now. Edgy meme lord and Mikefield by coming forward, not quite managing it would appear, not doing enough damage to Sbrh to really threaten his team, whereas his team is covered in stress and it's a much lower health than Sbrh's team, especially considering that Arbalest is in rank 4 now, unable to be stunned by the rest of them.
You give a man like SBRH an inch, he will take a mile, and he just does that. He takes this mile off the hands of Edgy Mimlord. He's taking over the game. He's stealing this victory once again. And that's just such a decisive manner as well in which he does this, right? So he pivots to stress, he does it right on time. Edgy doesn't kind of see this on time, I guess. He just doesn't play this aggressively enough and just is going to fall behind right now. I'm actually very surprised we see those this kind of, okay, how do we call this? Mixed compositions come into play and work so well in this tournament. I have not really played one.
You mean not quite lost it yet, though, has he? Oh. Couple powerful hits. Oh,
okay, that's just over. There's a single grape shot blast that divides Edgy Mimlord and the big L in the end of this fight, or maybe even a bellow. Honestly, there's gonna be a chain reaction. The bellow kills at least a single target there.
Look at these stress meters, they're up to 180, 190 individually.
Oh, this is just unlikely resist number 4 or 5 this game for SBRH. He's really getting those off in a very timely fashion. This is a dead Vestal, dead Crusader, almost dead Leopard. This is over. SBRH.
Look at these dominant. He's opening up the Steam saying good game, well played. He knows it's over, we know it's over. Bang, there we go.
What a beautiful ending to this game though. I love those chain heart attacks coming through. And this is indeed game number 1 coming into the hands of our boy SBRH. Let me just fix the score real quick so I don't forget about this later. And we'll jump into the bands again, and we will look at the compositions that are left for SBRH. Because obviously this Harriman he's super proficient on has gone out of the window. And this means he'll have to play those less comfortable compositions perhaps. So the Tank and Spank, which is again a Stress and DOT hybrid with a bit of stuns there, maybe actually 3 stuns available there, and the Vagabonds, which is I feel a composition that SBRH might not want to use today. I look at it, I don't see it working out too well. At the same time, Edgy Memeload has a lot of power available to himself, so he can still go back to the comp he used there.
Ridiculously power meta comps, isn't he? He's named them with such remarkably edgy names. Absolutely, I can't remember the word. Thank the hell, I'm so dumb. Anyway, Mike, you take over. I need to Google this word really quickly.
Sure thing. So Edgy Memeload's compositions here, I feel like
eponymous. The eponymous names, Edgy Memeload.
Thank you.
Playing these eponymous names here: Marauders, Pillagers, Executors, Inceptors, Marauders banned out, taking a little bit of an illustrator against Sbrh. 2 of these teams banned out now for Sbrh. Edgy Memeload, a very strong character. He knows he's against either a cultist team or a team with a Vestal Houndmaster, a Man-at-Arms, and Abomination. One of them is very, very weak to movement. One of them isn't. Really difficult here for Edgy Memeload to figure out what he's going against. This is going to be a coin flip, I think, for him, even before we enter the game, Mike.
Yeah, that's true. But that's a coin flip for both those players. Like, actually, Edgy has a slight edge in this one because he knows that this is just going to be 1 out of 2 compositions. Whereas, obviously, SBRH, it's just an open book. He has no clue what he's going to be facing, and he might just be very much surprised by what is going to be brought to the table here. So very much looking forward to this matchup right now. This is very important win for Edgy, because if he doesn't get this W on the board right now, he's just out as well. So very unfortunate, guys. I'm going to take this minute to remind you to follow, subscribe, and become members. Join on YouTube. Do those 3 things to support the stream, to keep me going, to keep those tournaments online. So we'll be probably bringing you some more tournaments on a weekly basis, perhaps on Saturdays. We have like some plans for that already. So if you're a fan of some casting in the Butcher Circus, you're a fan of the play on the highest level, do not hesitate, follow, subscribe, just be a part of this. Also join the Discord, guys.
Say, Mike, here, YouTubers, ex-Shuffle FM, Shuffle FM, very big guy, the real Spartan, not posted much recently, but very, very effective player. Twitch streamers, we have got the biggest boys imaginable. Cloaked Goliath, Zoko Forever, Musukun _DD, Josh Atchu, Joe Shatchu, and Life's _A_ Lidge. All of these guys, I'm sure all of you know them already, but please, if you love this game, follow them all. But we are now entering the next game, right, Mike?
Links are on the chat, by the way. I just pasted all those channels. You guys love DD. Definitely follow all those people. They are the best of the best. Coming into this matchup again, we see this Hellion from Edgy Memeload. That's an edgy meme indeed. And I do not believe my eyes. This is his tournament live on the stake, and he is picking a Hellion composition again. What is happening, sis, with those Hellions today? It's just crazy, mind-boggling stuff.
I love seeing them, but they're being played in such a weird way, not even really trying to utilize their break, and that big resist. That's a big resist there, 50% based on the bounty hunter, Mike. Absolutely absurd here, giving the that resistor such a remarkable advantage here. That's a completely past turn almost.
Looks like 100% honesty based on the previous games this BH has been in as well, like against Shuffle, right? It's actually a trade of blows though, because this Hellion does indeed miss that bleed out. It's actually super important because it's like a very powerful attack for the Hellion, and she also dazes herself and debuffs herself once she uses it. So it was super important for this Hellion to get that one right away. Obviously, low accuracy on this attack does mean that it's a hit and miss, and we have indeed seen a dodge here. The Abomination transforms, lays down the Hara across the board here. 128 Hara, guys, is what the Abomination does in total if those Hara stacks are not removed. So that's quite a big deal.
So powerful. I mean, Edgy Memeload right now has got this composition where he needs to play aggressively. He needs to pull, mark, shoot, kill. This Hellion here for him, I believe, isn't a breakthrough bot. It is more of a killing blow bot. Hellion has so many abilities that manipulate death blow to give the enemy minus death to resist, something like that. But right now he's unable really to utilize it considering the movement Sbrh has applied to him.
No, absolutely. And the problem is, again, I feel like Hellion's accuracy leaves a lot to wish for or bargain for, and this actually means that right now there is no Jester on this team, so there is no way for this Hellion to get any sort of support in terms of hitting her mark. And yeah, this just might be the problem for Edgy right now, just those characters, despite low dodge, might still resist those blows of the Hellion. Right now we see Defender come through by Sbrh, defending, protecting this Vestal. That's something we haven't quite seen before. I feel like people shouldn't be too afraid to guard targets, even if there's a Tiller on the Arbalest, right? Because this actually means that she takes way less damage, 30% protection, nothing to scoff at, and there is no protection penetration on this Arbalest, so she just does 70% damage instead of 100. This is very big. Also, this means that there is no reliable way for the BH to finish her off, so this is just a very decent position for Sbrh training. He's just gonna sit there comfortably, do his stress damage, drop the bellows across the board, and just probably take over this game slowly but steadily. We have seen a lot of prevalence of stress comps today, by the way, says. This is something that goes against what we saw yesterday, by the way. We had yesterday this was mostly about damage comps, today it's mostly stress, and those stress comps are performing so extremely well today, man.
Seeing Edgy Mimulti one game down trying to push against Sbrh. It's turn 2 right now. And no one has a job now though. Sbrh just taking that giant advantage here, pushing the Abomination to rank 4. All he can do is heal, transform and move forward. Very, very difficult for him right now. He has no ability to move him backwards unless he tries to bowler, push the Abomination backwards, but unfortunately on this turn the Abomination has already used her turn. So there's Abomination in the back row. I'll have to transform, maybe even move forward. Bit of a wasted time, right?
Yeah, this is kind of unfortunate, honestly, from Meme Lord, right? He doesn't want to be missing out on those turns. He's not playing a stress comp, because for a stress comp, having A-Bomb in rank 4 is kind of okay. Because you just transform, move forward, obviously you miss out on some damage, but that's not what you're looking for. However, for Edgy Meme Lord, this A-Bomb is really important to just deliver those blows. So that's just kind of unfortunate this doesn't happen here. I mean, this happens here for this A-Bomb, like he lands in rank 4 and he's just going to be absolutely inert for the following turn. And yeah, Sbrh slowly and steadily takes over this fight. I feel like he's just getting a lot of advantages, slow but still indeed advantages nonetheless. He is landing damage at the very same time. There is like a decent portion of DOTs and like actual health missing on the side of Edgy Meme Lord. So not only does Sbrh do a lot of damage, he also stresses the composition of Edgy quite significantly. So we might just see, you know, quite a quick ending to the series, honestly. I feel like Edgy Meme Lord is at a decent disadvantage here.
This is one of these guys that we all thought was going to take it home, but Sbrh here, I mean, unbelievable gameplay. This Vestal pulled him forward, marked, but guarded, throwing out these turns every single turn, controlling the game with only one real stun character with the transformed Abomination not able to manacles, the Houndmaster in 4th as well. Utilising that one stun you have to really control and win the game. Absolutely fantastic play from Sbrh. I think this guy really is someone to look out for.
Absolutely, yes. I didn't expect Sbrh to perform this well, honestly. And he's just bringing all the guns to this fight here. And he is literally smashing his opposition. Like, he has performed so ridiculously well. It feels so hopeless. Like, if I'm his opponent right now, it feels so hopeless playing against him, seriously. Because what the hell do you do? Like, all your decisions are anticipated. Everything you have planned for this game is just shattered. Dropped, like, basically bashed into pieces, and right now Edgy is in such a big deficit. He has a lot of stress, he has a lot of HP missing across the board on all those characters. He's almost hopeless, really. The Bellow comes through again. This is just such a big detriment right now. Again, the Houndmaster will follow with the Hound's Harry very shortly, and it's just going to be big deal of afflicted characters already into this turn. What, 3, 4 of this fight? 10-3, guys. We have 3 afflicted characters almost. across the board here for Edgy Meme Lord. This is something that's kind of unprecedented. Given that SBRH is using a Vestal, he's not using a full stress comp. Like, there's no Antiquarian there, there's no Occultist. This is a Vestal who just stuns. Does 8 stress per hit, obviously, but this is not that much, right? And this is a Vestal composition that does so well against Edgy Meme Lord. You just have to appreciate how well SBRH is playing all his games today. He's like basically God-given here. He does everything right. Seriously, this is just...
Absolutely, especially in such a powerful opponent as Edgy Meme Lord. We've seen him take wins against Shuffle of them in such a dominant fashion. You see SBRH kind of walk all over him, really paints a picture that SBRH is a very difficult character to overcome. Even though right now Edgy Meme Lord might have a chance to take him if he goes this Vestal. Maybe that Vestal lights out, can't heal himself in turn 1, can use that Divine Comfort or the stun. He's going for that stun again on the Bounty Hunter, and he's going to get him. Like,
it's a crit too, so a lot of stress coming across as well. It feels like playing against SBRH, I don't know, like it feels like Edgy Meme Lord is just getting smartphone. Seriously, there's a Smurf sitting across the board here in SBRH's place, and he's just taking all his hope away. He's draining his life force. Seriously, this feels like playing League of Legends, playing against like a challenger player, you being like Diamond, and you're just getting absolutely obliterated. You don't even know where those hits are coming from. It's just so brilliant. There's just so many great moves coming from SBRH. He might be just our favorite for this tournament, honestly. Looking at those games today, like he makes so many brilliant decisions. I just don't know. Looks like everybody else's hands are just tied against him from the beginning of the fight until the very end.
Well, I mean, right now, Edgy Meme Lord, he has been such a powerful player, but he's been completely controlled by these stuns. He's got 2 stunned characters because of that Manacles Abomination, that Vestal, constantly throwing that stuns, even when on Death's Door, playing aggressively rather than healing. Something both me and you have talked about an awful lot in this series. Playing very aggressive, double clearing the stunts with the Arbalester, something maybe SBRH counter. Maybe he just wanted that Arbalester to take a turn, not get that almost 100% death blow on a Might Vestal.
Yeah, so we might see a guard coming from SBRH honestly on this Vestal right now, because otherwise she's just really gonna die. I'm kind of surprised honestly that that Edgy Meme Lord didn't go for a kill right there. I mean, cleaning 2 stuns, obviously a very decent decision there. So SBRH ditches the Vestal here, and this might be the turning point in this game. So you probably want to go for the kill here. However, if you do go for this kill, you risk losing the A-bomb, right? So this might be very well a trade of kills here. Also, the BH actually marks and hits this Vestal a little bit. So the Vestal is going to go down, by the way. So here's the Hellion, right? So the Hellion does take a bit of damage, the Vestal does go down though, and this is an abomination of Edgy Meme Lord under heavy pressure now. So as we said already, SBRH did more damage in this game, did more stress in this game than Edgy, and this is a resisted Devler, so this might be Absolution coming down, this might be some sort of control as well. I am not really sure what Edgy really wants to do here, because obviously a single move away. Okay, that's very unfortunate. I think he really wanted to use Absolution here. He's not allowed by the AI here. So this Houndmaster is just going to make very short work of this Abomination right now, I feel.
Potentially double kill here even on both the Hellion and the Abomination.
Yeah, we see Bellu come down, so it's kind of surprising, but this might just be a way of getting rid of this A-bomb without getting reposted on. And indeed, it just happened. So this Hellion, by the way, under heavy siege as well. 160 stress, I believe, so it's quite a decent bunch of stress damage. This looks like a game SBRH is going to take and basically eliminate Edgy Meme Lord from this tournament altogether.
I mean, without that, right, Edgy Meme Lord, he's taken out Shuffle FM, really potent character. To see him lose in such a fashion to SBRH really has to make you wonder, if you are a player in this tournament, how to counter this guy, because right now Edgy Meme Lord's Hellion slam. It's not a death blow, it's a death store check, but still, all of this stress stacking up. But SBRH is taking every single vantage point he has to win the game. What can he do now? He can adrenaline rush, try and heal himself. But I don't think he's going to gain the engine to try and take it home, Mike.
Man, I'm so happy I'm not playing in this tournament right now. Because you'll have to deal with this guy eventually, I think, and I just can sit back and relax and watch his excellent play come up again and again and again. playing in a group against SBRH is probably going to be one of the most scary things that people will be facing him tomorrow on Thursday are just gonna experience. Damn, this man is brilliant.
Unbelievable player. This dark horse again. Sorry for using that phrase so much, but for real, we do not know anything about this guy. Even such an enigmatic name, some initials in a row. Taking the victories, even against Edgy Meme Lord, a guy that I thought really would take it home. Really thought he would take it home here. Perhaps not choosing the right strategical plays here, but still, SBRH did not give him any breathing room. This is a guy that will not make any misplays.
No, he just played it super clean. Like, you have to appreciate the game sense this guy has as well, because this is not just clean play, by the way. This is also just all those small decisions he's been making. Like, might have looked arbitrary, like the order of picking the characters, perhaps, right? Or using those abilities, like timing those heals, time order alone, like stuns. This was such perfect play. It's just mind-boggling for me that he was able to put all those moves off. Probably one of the best players I have seen in this tournament so far.
I mean, especially under the tournament pressure, Mike. The amount of pressure you must be feeling, especially right now, because you're so close to qualifying, getting in that final round of 8 to win, and you are still playing perfectly. But right now, Jimmy Rod, I think it's succumbed to that pressure. He's played so many practice games in the Mikefield Discord, but I think right now we are seeing one of the most prominent Mikefield boys getting knocked out of the tournament a little bit prematurely, I'd say, with this 2-0 victory to the SBRH. I am terrified. I'm sure SBRH's opponent in the next game is very, very scared. That heart attack on there, push him right down to death's door here. All three of your characters so close to death's door, Mike. Even if this Caltrop gets it, I don't think you've got it, Mike.
No, not at all. No, this is just not going to be enough. No, if he doesn't get the kill, either 0 damage just because of those bellows, it is just all she wrote for Edgy Meme Lord at this point. I feel like this is just it. And very unfortunate, obviously, an excellent player is going down, but another excellent player just rises to the occasion. And he's just going to take over this game. He's going to demolish Edgy Meme Lord. He's going to stun his herbalist, not right. 25 stun resistance, that's kind of unlikely to be resisted indeed, but this doesn't go through. This doesn't quite cut it either, because this is a guard that comes into play. Again, SBRH a single step ahead of you every single time, man. This man is playing out of his mind. He's gonna activate probably this Houndmaster, just go for a kill. This might be a chain of kills right now. This is probably the end of this tournament live for Edgy Meme Lord. 3 characters dead. No, not really. Very close.
There we go. That's a helling down. Boom, click. So close to the hard attack of the bounty hunter. Trucks it on the arbalest, sitting right down. But really, you have to give this game to SBRH here. This acronymized player. Absolutely destroying. Edgy Meme Lord, his eponymous, thank you for remembering that word, sis, did not quite take him through. No matter how ravenous he is, no matter how rageful he is, whatever he wants to say, all of this was merely a bluster in the wind compared to SBRH's absolutely surgical play, Mike.
Oh, I agree with you completely. This is just such an excellent game to watch. I'm so happy I'm here right now, because this is like the pinnacle of the Butcher Circus, man. SBRH. We will see this man in the group stage, because Edgy Meme Lord is dead in this tournament, and SBRH advances to the group stages. GG well played is called. No tap-outs, like Edgy Meme Lord stayed there in the game until the very end. But it was kind of clear that SBRH is just gonna take this one. And guys, we're just gonna go into the final matchup. So congratulations to our winner number 1, Edgy Meme Lord. Sorry, SBRH 2-0 against Edgy. And this means that we have...
So dominant, Mike. So dominant in our performance. Taking out Edgy Meme Lord, unbelievable. I'm not sure what's gonna happen, but really, SBRH, a deadly guy. Someone to watch.